What's up, tribe? How you guys doing? Go ahead and hit that subscribe button, and I hope you like this video. This is Power Book 2, Season 2, Episode 7. So we are almost at the end of this season. We start this episode off. We got Lorenzo making his move on Kino. Remember the guy that he was in jail with and found out that he was running his own crew. So it's him, Drew, and he got a new lieutenant with him. And they make a move on him, and Drew actually takes the kill shot. They end up, it was a witness there. He was, in the middle of, getting it in. And so they ended up, taking her out too. And Drew was like, what are you talking about? Like, that's not what we discussed. And, Lorenzo was like, listen, if I had taken the kill shot, that'd be one thing. But we can't risk having any witnesses out there on the street that can put their fingers on you. So, nah, she had to go. So, no loose ends. Then we see Monet down to the bar that, I guess the bar is fixed up now. And Evelyn rolls up on her. Now, Evelyn is Frank's wife. Y'all remember Frank, the cousin or the uncle, whoever that got out of jail? And Monet was questioning that he got out of jail so early and basically sent Kane to, get rid of him. Now, this is what I don't understand. She went rolling up on Monet, wanting to know where Frank was, talking about something. He ain't come back home ever since he said he was coming to see you, and he ain't been back home since. Wasn't that months ago? Like, months ago? I'm like trying to figure out why in the world are we just looking for our husband? But Monet, basically, they had like a coded conversation, but a not so coded conversation. Monet was like, well, I was surprised to see that he was getting out so early. Did you ever find out why? And she was like, no. I mean, I was just happy to have him home. I never even questioned why he was coming home. And she was like, well, you know the rules of the game. You know how the streets roll. You violate code. And I feel like that was Monet's way of letting her know, girl, he not coming back home. Because like I know, he was somebody's informant and he got. Now, whether I got him or somebody else got him, he got. And so, Monet goes in her purse and pulls out a knot of money. And I'm thinking to myself, y'all are the most having a knot full of money, not having no money, always needing to run a play to get more money people I have ever seen in my life. Monet always talking about how she need money for something, but she always got money. But anyway, it was a thick knot too. A thick knot. And I always wonder, like, you don't count it out? You just handed her the whole knot of money. How many knots of money did you have in your purse that you could just hand her one? You ain't know, like, whatever. Anyway, she gave the girl the knot, and she hesitated at first like she wasn't going to take it, but then I guess she was like, well, I do kind of need it. And she ended up taking the money from Monet. And that was pretty much, I don't know if that was their way of tying up that loose end. But I feel like that was a loose end that we wasn't thinking about. Like, I don't think any of us was worried about Frank and what happened to him and his family. Like, I honestly didn't. So I don't know if they're bringing that back around or they call themselves tying up that loose end. Like I said, we are towards the end of the season. So then we see Tariq meeting with his attorneys late night. Looked like they were in a church or something. And they were telling Tariq, listen, the bad news is we just got the discovery from the prosecution, and basically they have this video camera of somebody looking very much like you on camera the night that Jabari was killed. And Tariq was like, I wasn't there, I was with, or was it the night that the cop was killed? Anyway, but we know it's Kane, and I guess all black kids look alike. I don't know. So, he said, well, no, I was with, was it Robin? The Method Man, Davis's old, investigator. Like, I was with her that night, because remember, that's the night that she was confronting, Tariq about the videotape that Sachs had taken of him at his father's grave, basically admitting he killed his father. And, Method Man was kind of like, well, we can't really use that because, like, of why they were there and what the conversation was they were having. He was like, but let me talk to her. Maybe I can, sort of finesse it. Then, but then Sachs was like, but then that means that you didn't do it and you know who did it. Why can't you just tell us who did it? And, Tariq was like, I can't. Like, what is wrong with you? Like, I can't tell him, you know. So, of course, Saxe is talking to Davis like, that's stupid. Why won't he just tell us who did it? And Saxe was like, because he can't. Like, you don't understand the streets. He can't tell us who it was. But I feel like in that moment, he kind of knew who it was. Davis, that is, not Saxe. So, then we get to the house. Lorenzo and Drew are coming home, and Monet is sitting up waiting for them. And of course, she like, where y'all been? Again, Monet is having a hard time having to adjust back to the fact that she's not in the know. She's not in the loop. Lorenzo has no intention of telling her everything that he's doing, every move he's making. He doesn't see her as an equal part of this equation. Like, he doesn't. And so he's not going to talk to her and tell her, oh, well, this is what we are, or this is what we got going on. He doesn't see her on that same level. And he basically told her, like, listen, we were out handling business, and don't worry. Like, I'm going to make sure that Drew is protected. I got this. You know, you go shopping. So then we see Tariq with Brayden looking through the photo album, and he finds the picture that he's looking for. And Brayden is like, yo, I can't use that. He was, and Tariq was like, yeah, this is the picture that I need. And Tariq, because at first Brayden was like, how can anything in here help your case? And when he found the picture, Brayden was like, oh, excuse me. Brayden was like, nah, bro, we can't do this. Like, this, like, nah, like, you know I'm down. You know I'll help you however I can, but we can't do this. And Tariq was like, what are you talking about? Like, this is what I need. This is what's going to help me. And Brayden was like, well, we can't do that. He was like, listen, that's my family. Like, I can't put my family out there like that. And Tariq was like, wait a minute, the same family that you hate so much that you always talk about, you don't want to be like them. He was like, you really being real, you know, real selfish right now, whatever. And Brayden was like, what the hell are you talking about? Like, that's, he, you know, Tariq was like, I need this to save my family. And Brayden was like, but that's going to expose mine. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, come on, like, that's my family. So he goes and so I think him and Brayden came to a compromise that, because his father was in this picture. Come to find out, it's a picture of the senator that Tate wants to get to in blackface as O.J. Simpson, and his father is dressed up as Nicole Simpson, and it's, you know, it's really in poor taste and, you know, racist. So when he tells Tate about it, Tate is like, oh shit, like, slam dunk, I need that picture. And Tariq was like, well, I can give you half the picture, I can't give you the whole picture. And you know, Tate was like, the hell? Like, I need that whole picture. He was like, I really don't give a damn about you or your friend. This was our deal. This was what we promised. I need that picture. So, of course, Tariq is sort of kind of stuck at this point because it's like, here we go, you know. So then we get to class, and Tariq shows up for class, and, of course, everybody is shocked to see him there. And they get to having this conversation about doing harm to others and who has a right to make decisions for others. And what was interesting was they were talking about, you know, whether you like it or not, people always make decisions for you, whether you want them to or not. And Tate was talking about politicians, how the people give them the authority when they elect them to make decisions for them. And then, you know, light-skinned Keisha was like, well, you know, us, you know, we don't have any rights here at school. You know, they can raid our dorms anytime they want to. Lauren, that right, Lauren? And Lauren was like, yeah, you know, and that's when the first time Tariq is finding out that Lauren's room got raided because of the drugs. So once class is over, you know, Tariq rolls up on her and he's like, yo, why didn't you tell me that your room got raided? And of course, you know, she doesn't see why he cares at this point, because she's like, listen, it happened. I didn't think you cared. Like, you know, he was like, well, why didn't you tell me? She was like, I know you're not talking. You don't tell me nothing. Like, you never told me anything. So then, you know, he was like, well, I'm trying to find out now. She said, listen, at the end of the day, you ended this relationship. You didn't want to be with me anymore, so you don't get to come here, question me, ask me about nothing. Thank you and good day. So then Davis goes to meet up with old girl to try to talk to her about Tariq's alibi. And she was like, first of all, I saw the report, and at the end of the day, yes, even if I were to testify on behalf of Tariq, the timeline still allows for him to go and commit this murder, so it would be a waste of time. That's number one. And number two, you know, like I know, there's nowhere in the world they could put that I could testify, because the minute they hit up for cross-examination and they asked me why I was meeting with Tariq or what was the purpose of our meeting or what we were talking about, Now I gotta expose a whole nother situation that I know you don't want to come out in court. So, Davis tries to finesse her. He had taken his wedding ring off and everything. He tried to finesse her. And she was like, listen, at the end of the day, I can't help you. Good luck with that. He orders her a drink. He was like, well, come on. At least have a drink with me. He orders her a drink. Baby, she takes that drink and she tips it over and pours it all over his good, expensive shoes, I'm sure. And walks her happy ass out of there and told him on the way out, go on to put your wedding ring back on. So, Davis meets with the team. He meets with Saxon. He meets with Tariq. And he tells them, listen, that alibi ain't gonna work. So we need to come up with a plan B. And the only other option we have is to put your sister on the stand, because you said you were at your grandmother's house and she could put you there. Like, we need to put her on the stand. And of course, Tariq doesn't want to do that. He was like, my sister is 9. Now, I don't know how the hell she got 9 years old, but we're going to just go with the fact that she's 9. He was like, and I'm not doing that to her. Like, I'm not putting her on the stand. Like, I don't want to expose her like that. But of course, Davis is like, well, I don't know what else you want me to tell you, because that's pretty much what we got to do. So Tariq tells him he ain't doing it and he leaves out of there. So then Davis... No, that's later on in the episode. Okay. So then we see Drew meeting up with Everett. They having their little secret rendezvous. And while they there talking and enjoying each other's company, the daggone police detective comes and knocks on the door and wants to talk to Everett. Well, of course, Drew goes to hide in the bathroom. Now, the police detective is noticing shoes on the floor, clothes on the floor, and I don't think he assumed that it was Drew, but I definitely feel like he knew that it was somebody else in that room. And Everett wouldn't let him in there because he said he had some questions he needed to follow up. And he tried to, strong arm him and give him the whole, he never said, well, I need to talk to you or nothing like that. But he definitely tried to, put a strong implication that he needed to talk to him. But he told him he had nothing else to say. And, but Drew, after he left, Drew told him, oh, he going to be back. Like, this ain't over because your name is in the damn report. Like, it ain't over. Child, next we see Zeke out on the basketball court working on his form, and Mecca rolls up on him and starts talking to him. And basically, Mecca hit him with the, you want to play some one-on-one? And he was like, nah, I'm just here working on my form. And he was like, yeah. He was like, so, you one foot is bigger than the other, right? Or half a size bigger than the other. He was like, yeah, that's a family trait. Zeke was like, what? Family trait? What you talking about? He was like, yeah, he said, I don't know how to tell you this. I know it's sort of like, crazy, but I'm your father, Zeke. Zeke's like, he was like, nah, bruh, you got the wrong person. My daddy dead. And Mecca was like, nah. He was like, listen, look at this tattoo. He's like, I know where your name came from. Look at this tattoo. So he shows me the tattoo of Bible verse from the book of Ezekiel, saying that's where his name came from. And of course Zeke goes running off. So later on in the episode, we see him packing up because he missed a meeting with his agent. Monet was trying to get him a meeting with his agent. Well, they were supposed to be meeting with his agent, and he missed the meeting with his agent. Monet goes by the house, goes by his dorm, and she's like, why the hell did you miss this meeting? And he was like, I gotta go talk to my mother. Some dude rolled up on me at the basketball court today talking about he my daddy. Now, of course, as soon as that happened, my bad, let me pause. When Monet was getting ready for the meeting, she was at the house and she was all frantic. She got a text message from Dante saying, I need to talk to you, Nay. But it was from D, because she just got him in the phone as D. And that was before she went to the meeting. So, of course, now Diana want to know who D is. Girl, go sit down. But, so she tells, so back to her and Zeke. So Zeke was like, I need to go talk to my mother because y'all told me my father was dead. So, yeah, I need to know who all this is. So, she says, well, Zeke, I need you to sit down for a minute. And I thought this was so stupid. Because my thing was, if that was the lie that y'all told him, just stick with the lie. Why give him something totally different? Just say, well, I don't know who told you that. That's a lie. We not, your father is dead. You about to go into the NBA and it's going to be a bunch of people rolling up on you, but you can't believe none of that. Instead of just sticking to the lie, she going to give him something totally different. Talking about something, well, I know that, I told you that, but Zeke, your father's in jail serving a life sentence. So to me, I feel like you've created a whole nother problem rather than eliminating one. Because now, if I'm Zeke, I want to know the who, the what, the when, the where, and the how. Well, what jail is he in? Why is he in jail for life? What did he do? Why did y'all lie to me? What was the purpose? Like, were you ever going to tell me? Maybe this is him. Maybe he got out and y'all didn't know. Like, to me, if y'all told the boy the man was dead, then let him be dead. Now, in this modern world of DNA, like, you can buy a DNA kit from the daggone CVS. So it's not like if Dante don't really want to get press it, he could get some DNA and prove that Zeke is his son. But that's another problem for another day. I feel like Monet created a whole nother problem by telling Zeke that, and then telling Zeke, you don't have nothing to worry about. I told you that's not your father. Don't you believe me? Girl, Monet, you creating problems that you don't need to create. But anyway, so back up at the school, Professor Carey is listening to a chat room. I guess it's like a clubhouse type thing, or like one of those, where the students are talking, and they talking about her. They talking about the fact that, she was sleeping with Jabari, and who else might she be sleeping with, and you know how kids are. They gossiping about it. So while she's listening to that, Tate comes in and wants to know why he didn't get an invitation to Jabari's dinner. They're having like a memorial dinner for Jabari. And she was like, well, because probably people who knew him got invited, because you ain't know him. Why would we invite you? So while they're having this conversation, the dean comes in, and the dean basically tells her that it might be a good idea for her to not speak at the dinner, because she was going to give a speech. And maybe it'd be a good idea for you not to speak at the dinner because, there's some rumors floating around. And maybe it'd be best if you kind of just, wasn't on the forefront. Well, Tate takes this as an opportunity for him to come and get some brownie points, and he comes at the dean, and he starts arguing about sexism and feminism, and this could be seen as people not allowing her to explore her sexuality and trying to shame her and this, that, and the other. And of course the dean gives in, which in the real world he wouldn't have, because he had legitimate reason to tell her to sit her ass down. But okay, whatever. And so she asked him, okay, what was all that for? He was like, don't you get a +1? So that was his way to get into the dinner, right? Now while this is going on, Monet has approached Dante / Mecca and want to know, and she want to know, like, why did you go to Zeke? Like, we had an agreement. I thought we agreed that you wasn't going to say nothing. And he was like, well, no, we had an agreement that me and you was going to ride off into the sunset. So actually, you betrayed the agreement before I betrayed the agreement. And at the end of the day, you could change your mind and decide that you're going to do what you want to do. But that's my son. And Monet was like, at the end of the day, that's my son. I love him more than you will ever understand. And what you're going to do is stay away from him, and you're going to stay away from me. And he was like, you kept him away from me all of these years, and now I want to be daddy, and you don't get to tell me no. He was like, you made those decisions without me. She was like, no, you left. He was like, I was arrested. Remember? I was in jail. And then they gave me the option of going to jail or going to the military. And I went to the military, but if I knew I had a baby, I would have stayed here. And she was like, well, he said, but you made certain decisions for me. She said, I was 16 years old and pregnant. Don't you think decisions were made for me too? So I feel like that's how the whole "this is your aunt, not your mother" narrative was started. That her family, she was young and pregnant, and her family, y'all know how we used to do back in the day, especially black folk. You would go away for a couple of months, come back, and all of a sudden you had a little brother. That kind of thing. Now, while this is going on, Tariq done reached out to Tamika. And I don't know why he reached out to Tamika. I don't know what he want from Tamika. I don't know what the goal was in recruiting Tamika. But he was talking to her because Davis wants his little sister to testify, and he doesn't want her to testify. And Tamika is like, listen, it sounds to me like you got a real serious situation going on. Like, you out here killing people. Like, I thought we had resolved this already. And he was like, I didn't kill that cop. And she was like, well, what about the professor? And Tariq basically admitted by not saying anything that he did. And I'm thinking to myself, Tariq, if you keep telling people you killed the man, you might as well go down to the police and confess, because you done told everybody and their cousin that you killed this man. So I ain't even understand it. But Tamika, she's showing him pictures of people that died back during Power. Half of them ghosts didn't even kill child, but she's trying to, I guess, guilt Tariq into coming forward and doing the right thing. And so she finally agrees that she'll talk to Saxe, but basically, she can't promise nothing, kind of thing. So they end up getting Jasmine to testify. Now listen, I don't know if Tariq coached her or not, but at the end of the day, she did great on direct examination, but on cross examination, she sort of faltered a little bit because she's a kid and she can't remember. They was asking her, was it light or was it dark? Well, was Tariq there before it got dark? Was Tariq there after it got dark? Like, whatever. It was just real crazy. Now, while this is going on, Mecca and Lorenzo finally meet up. And they make a deal, and of course Kane is there and he's upset because Lorenzo brought Drew with him. But I'm like, Kane, you might as well stop getting mad. He's been clear about the fact that Drew is who he chooses. Drew is who he wants to be his next in line. Whether you like it or not, whether you agree with it or not, whether it's even the right decision or not, really ain't the problem at this point. It is what it is. So they agreed to do business, whatever. Now we are at the dinner for Professor, Jabari, and Lauren, Carrie is trying to talk to Lauren and tell her to stay away from Tariq because he's a drug dealer, and Lauren gives this whole little, well, maybe he's just a victim of decisions that people made for him, and I should have thought about that before, I left him hanging, and, I let you, manipulate me, but she's, basically letting the doctor, the professor know, like, I'm not under your thumb, like, girl, you can't tell me what to do. So then, while that's going on, before they get ready to get their speech, child, Tate rolls up on Braden's dad, and because Braden's family is there, rolls up on Braden's dad, and basically lets him know that he got this picture, and that he need to tell his boy to drop out of the Senate race, or he gonna be forced to go public. And the father was like, well, I don't really take the threats kindly. And then once Tate revealed that, he got this blackface picture, his face sort of dropped a little bit, but I still don't think, I think that he feel like that he'll, prevail, kind of thing. So they get ready to do their tribute to Jabari, and once Carrie gets up there to start giving her speech, baby, the whole room is whispering about her. The whole town's laughing at me, okay? The whole room is whispering about her, and she ends up running out of there. She basically ends up saying, I can't do this, and she runs out of there. So Tate follows her, and she's like, listen, I can't do this with you right now. And he said, no, I ain't gonna lie to you. It's bad. Like, they were talking about you. It's bad. He said, but I've been there before. Like, take it from me as somebody who, has had their career circling the drain. Like, there's a way to get out of this. Like, please understand. It's not over till I say it's over. And I'm going to help you get it together. So, I don't know. We're going to see strange bedfellows right there. Now, while that's going on, Lauren decides that she's going to go see Tariq and apologize. Or she tries to talk to Tariq. Now, while she's talking to Tariq, Diana rolls up. And, oh, yeah, that's the other thing. Tariq had told Davis and them about the raid down to the school and how Lauren was caught up in it. And he asked him, you think that maybe she might have had something to do with this? And that's when Davis and Saxe, he asked Saxe about it, and Saxe was like, oh, she's definitely an informant, and she's definitely going to testify, like, because he didn't say nothing in front of Tariq, but he told Davis, oh, no, she's an informant, and she going to testify, like, yeah. So, Diana shows up while Lauren is trying to talk to Tariq, and Tariq basically tells Lauren, listen, like, when I needed you, you weren't there. I tried to talk to you yesterday, you blew me off. I got company, and my lawyer told me that I need to stay away from you anyway, so bye. So then him and Diana in the room talking, and Diana basically says, listen, yeah, I'm in school, but I want to be here with you, and I want to get it in. And Tariq was like, listen, if we were to do something, please understand that Monet one, I need you to be sure, and two, Monet can never find out. And of course, she was like, "Yeah, no problem. You know, I would never tell Monet. I want this." So, child, they get it in. Now, the way he said Monet can't never find out, and this came up on the podcast earlier today. Retro CG brought this up. If Diana messed around to get pregnant, baby, can you imagine the mess that would make? Whew. So, Kane and Drew end up getting into it at the house because, of course, Kane is mad that Drew was at the meet, and Drew is trying to figure out what his problem is. And Drew was like, you know, you out here killing cops and stuff. And he was like, but I did that to cover for you. Like, your boyfriend telling people that, you know, giving our names to the police and stuff. So, like, I did that. He said, I make moves, and I'm out here making moves trying to protect the family. And you out here, you know, basically sleeping with the enemy. They get into a tussle, child. They fighting in the house. Lorenzo breaks it up. And Kane tells Lorenzo, Drew's boyfriend is the one that snitched to the police, and he's still basically sleeping with him. And Lorenzo was like, are you serious right now? Like, that's what's going on? Like, are they sleeping with you? You know, you sleeping with the enemy? And Drew was like, he's good. And Lorenzo tells Drew, you better make sure, because remember, we don't leave no loose ends, which of course is what he told him at the beginning of the episode when they killed that lady. So, we see Drew, you know, Kane told Drew, you really need to take care of that before it becomes a problem. So, we see Drew trying to roll up on Everett. You know, he following behind him. He done found him at school. He following behind him. He done pulled out a gun like he probably got a mask on, like he about to kill him. And then Everett sends him a text saying, I miss you. So, the I miss you text saved his life, child. Anyway. Tamika meets with Saxe and basically tells Saxe, listen, let's try to get a deal for Tariq. I think we can save him. He's not as big of a monster as his father. Let's make it happen. Saxe don't want to do it, but eventually Saxe decides to do it. So Saxe and Tamika, they roll up on Tariq with this, and the prosecutor with a 5-year deal. He just has to say who really killed the cop was, and I guess they just going to get him on conspiracy or accessory after the fact or whatever. So they're going to let him go for 5 years. And get his sister out of foster care, put his grandmama in rehab, and get his sister out of foster care. Well, of course, Tariq is like, yeah, that's never going to happen because that's never going to happen. So anyway, that's the end of that. Because Tariq refuses to sign the deal. Then we have Kane, letting Monet know that the faucet is dry. Like, we're not getting no more work, so course correct is shut down. We're not going to be able to run it, you know, which means we can't get our side money, which means she can't get the money to Davis. And so she tells Kane, well, you need to figure it out. Like, I need you to go, like, there's other ways to make money. I'm going to need you to go find them because we can't afford to not give Davis his money, because if not, then Davis is going to, basically Davis, you know, we can't guarantee that Davis is going to look out for us or try to redirect the prosecution if they start looking in our direction. So, of course, Kane in his crazy head decided that meant, let me go put a gun to Davis's head and threaten him into basically doing what we were supposed to be paying him to do. Davis keeps his cool, but Davis lets him know, listen, you kill me, I'm the only person that's keeping you out of jail. Like, I continue to, if I continue to defend Tariq, I keep Tariq and you out of jail. Like, all you need to do is do what you said you was gonna do and give me my money. And like right before he ready to pull off, he says, he said, and tell your mama I said hi, Kane, Tejada. So of course Kane is like, oh shit. And I'm like, duh, like it doesn't take a rocket scientist to connect those dots. Hello. Dot. Duh. So while this is going on, we back at the Tejada house, and Lorenzo is whining and dining Mary J. Blige. You know, he got roses all over the place. He got Louis Vuitton boxes and Chanel boxes. Listen, I want them boxes, okay? I don't know what was in them, but I want them. And, you know, he tells her, listen, you know, I'm taking care of business. You know, I need you to make sure that I got you, you know, basically he establishing an alibi because while this is going on, he got his people basically taking out the competition. So he was just setting up a daggone alibi just in case something blow back with him. They end up, doing doing grown folk business, and his phone goes off, letting him know that it was done. Her phone go off. It's Dante hitting her up, telling her we need to talk. Now, Diana had a conversation with Zeke, and Zeke told her about some dude rolling up on him, claiming to be his daddy by the name of Dante. But Monet told him, don't worry about it. And of course, remember, she saw that text message from a D. So I'm like, okay, she gonna connect the dots, I guess. Now, while this is going on, Davis rolls up on Sax, and he's pissed off because he wants to know why is Sax meeting up behind his back with Tariq. Like, I told you. And Sax was like, but he didn't go for it anyway, so it doesn't even matter. And Sax was like, Davis was like, yeah, but I'm going to need you to really stop. Like, and I thought he was getting ready to fire Sax, right? But he didn't. But then they realized that guess who was acting as Lauren's legal counsel while she was down at the police station? Carrie. So Davis rolls up on Carrie, and Davis is like, listen, you know that what you was doing, you was acting in an unethical way, so I'm gonna need you, she was like, well, you don't have an ethical bone in your body. And he was like, but how many bones do you have in your body? Because Carrie a hoe. So basically, he's letting her know, listen, I know that you were there. And I feel like they're going to be able to use that or leverage that to get Lauren's testimony thrown out is what I feel like they're going to do with that. In the meantime, Kane meets with Tariq, which I have no idea why they felt like they needed to have a face-to-face just to tell him that they've been cut off and he going to have to figure out another way to get this money up for his attorney. And, of course, Tariq is like, I got to pay my attorney. My trial starts tomorrow, which that's the fastest damn trial I've ever seen. But, okay. I mean, you was just arraigned, but all right then, whatever. His trade, and we know Davis don't do nothing for free. So we'll see where that takes us next week. Anyway, sorry about the long review, y'all, but that's it. That's all. Talk to y'all later. Peace.